Hi folks, I bought this Titan 6 5-foot rake, and then I bought the wheel kit, and I don't know if you can see that from there, but this wheel is like horrible. Give you a little close up here. So I called them up and I said, what's the deal here? A little tough to see, but this wheel is just, the bearings are useless. So here's my fix. Coming up. So here's the first thing you got to do. I put the bracket on here like they tell you. Well, they really don't tell you because there's no instructions. Put this in upside down so it's at a convenient height. And now I got to take this axle apart. Loosen this up already. There's I don't know, 3 or 4 of these washers in here, but none of them seem to be set up correctly. There's no grease in there. I'll take some of this off. Another washer, bushing. Get the wheel out of here. Bushing, washer, but I don't know if you can see this. This washer is too small. Doesn't really retain the bushing, the bearing. So I went out, purchased a bigger washer. That's going to sit like that after the bushings go back in, and this way you'll have pressure evenly distributed on the bearing. So the next step now is I have to, this bearing, if you notice, is stuck on the other side. It should be out like this on this side. So I gotta punch this out and get it set correctly. Stand by. Okay, so I'm not going to punch this out. What I'm going to do is take this 2-part wheel apart. This is a solid tire, so it's not going to blow up in your face or anything. And then once I get this apart, I should be able to reset the bearings properly, put a bushing between the two of them, and then we'll go from there. So you notice here's the hub. See the bearing on this side, no bearing on this side. Both of them are jammed together in here. So I got to pull this one out and get it into this hub, put it back together around the tire. So I got the bearing out. This one's in this hub. Now I got to get this one in this hub. I don't think I can push it from this side. I might be able to, no. I think I'm going to have to put it in from this side, and I'm going to use a big socket and a hammer. When I get done with that, there's also no grease fitting and no grease on these bearings, so I'm going to add some grease. I don't think that grease will hurt anything. Now, unlike what they had, I'm going to stick this washer in here to retain that bearing nicely. And then of course I'm going to make up a proper size of this, put this in between the two hubs, and then we'll be in good shape. So it turns out that these spacers, which when this is in the correct position, you put them on top and bottom for how deep you want your rake to go. It turns out that these two small ones put together measure 1 3/8, which is exactly what we need between these two hubs. So if I drop this in, here's the other hub now, I fixed that. Drop this in. Now they'll fit together perfectly. I will put this one on the bottom, drop the tire in there, drop this one in on the top, get a bolt started. And now, when I get this back on the axle, these bearings, which I've greased, by the way, should sit in there nice, and not all end up on one side with the wheel flopping all over the place. I still can't figure out what they were thinking of when they put this together. By the way, I did say there's no instructions. Couldn't find anything online, so that's why I'm making this video. A little bit of work, and I got to tell you, the rake itself and the wheel kit itself is substantial for the price. I mean, I looked at York rakes and they were in the thousands. This was in the hundreds. So I can't complain. Saving the money I saved, I don't mind doing a little work, but you would think they'd have at least the proper bushing in there, so if you put this thing on your rake and just started dragging it around the yard, in very short order, bearings are going to go. I'm sure the wheel will still be there, but you won't have much luck. Seem to have lost the washer here. Okay. So that's what the wheel should look like. Nice bearing over here, nice bearing over here. And then, I don't have the washers in place yet, but when you put this back as an axle, this thing will spin nice with the proper bushings and washers on the outsides. She's not going to wobble all over the place. Okay, so we got the wheel back together, greased up, we got the bushings inside. The only two things I had to buy were a couple of bigger washers to retain the bushings, to retain the bearings. The other thing I did was I bought a length of 1-inch EMT to make some bushings. So on this side, on the other side I made 2 bushings. This side I realized I could just use, a couple of those spacers, and then I'll use the EMT for the spacers to adjust the height of this when it's in the proper orientation. Alright, so we get a few bushings on here, washer, oops, bushings got to go in, then the big washer, then I got to thread this through the got to put bushing on the other side. First the washer and then the bushing. These are 1-inch washers. You can get them at your hardware store. Looks like I'm going to have to trim this down a bit. This side's a little different from the other side. And I'm going to get a measurement. Looks like 1 inch should do it. So I'm going to cut that off the piece of EMT. Stand by. Turns out my rake here and the tractor make a nice rig to hold the pipe in place. Got a big old pipe cutter here. Go a little bit at a time. We'll have a nice bushing. Nothing like an old, probably made by Rigid, but I'm not 100% sure. Read something. This is probably older than me, and I'm pretty old. So now we got a nice bushing that we're going to use to get the wheel back on properly. Let's see if we can get this bad boy in there. A little snug, but I think that's good. Perfect. Now we just got to find a washer. Let's see. Somewhere we had a washer here. Oh, here we are. Get this on. A couple of pipe wrenches. Tighten this bad boy up. Take a little bit off. And there we go. Now we got very little wobble in there. I don't know if you could see that. Much better. And that's that. Okay, so got it all set up. We're going to take it for a test drive. Here we go. success. So I guess it was worth saving a couple $100.